Hello, my beautiful people. Hope you're doing great. Welcome back to our channel. Today we have some really wonderful news for Social Security recipients, VA, SSDI, and SSI payments. You know those $2,000 stimulus checks that everyone has been talking about? Well, we'll tell you when exactly you can expect to get yours, which is this Monday. We'll also explain who is eligible for these payments, regardless of whether they receive Veterans Affairs VA benefits, Social Security Supplemental Security Income SSI, or Social Security Disability Insurance SSDI. Find out if you qualify for the $2,000 stimulus check. We know you're curious about when the money will transfer to your bank account, and we've got the dates down. Stay tuned to find out exactly when you can anticipate that much-needed boost in your account. You may be wondering how the money will get to you. We'll walk you through the distribution process and answer any questions you may have about whether you need to take any extra steps to ensure a smooth payment. We've compiled the most frequently asked questions about these stimulus checks and have answers ready for you, from how it might affect your other benefits to what to do if you haven't received your payment. If you depend on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, we've got you covered. This video is essential. Our goal is to ensure you have all the knowledge necessary to successfully get your $2,000 stimulus check. Finally, the lengthy wait is over for millions of financially constrained Americans are eagerly awaiting the next cash assistance round. Following months of political negotiations and economic uncertainty, the federal government has officially announced the payment dates for $2,000 direct stimulus checks. The money will start to arrive in bank accounts on Monday, May 20th. The much-needed fourth wave of stimulus funds is expected to significantly improve the lives of tens of millions of struggling households. The $2,000 direct payments will be distributed nationwide to seniors over 65 who are not receiving other federal benefits, as well as beneficiaries of Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, Supplemental Security Income, SSI, and Department of Veterans Affairs, VA, benefits. At a time when many families are still suffering from the pandemic's consequences and are consistently struggling to make ends meet, President Biden hailed the economic impact payments as a lifeline to help families pay for necessities like groceries, rent, and energy bills. A similar schedule will apply to recipients of VA benefits based on their birth dates. In the meantime, recipients of SSI and SSDI will have their payments issued by order of zip code, with that processing beginning on Monday the 20th and continuing through Friday the 24th for seniors over age 65 who don't receive Social Security or VA benefits. High inflation will cause the rollout of payments to be staggered over the coming week based on recipients' birthdays, zip codes, or age. Social Security beneficiaries whose birthdays fall between the 1 stone and 10 of the month can expect their $2,000 stimulus to be deposited this Monday, the 20th. Those born between the 11th and 20th will see their pay payments on Wednesday, the 22 ND, while payments for the remaining recipients will arrive on Friday, the 24th. The oldest recipients will receive the stimulus cash first, and they will be distributed in decreasing order of age. Starting on May 20th, the massive relief package will benefit over 64 million Social Security recipients, about 8 million SSI and SSDI recipients, almost 5 million VA beneficiaries, and tens of millions of senior citizens. For those who previously gave financial information to federal agencies, the majority of payments will be made via direct deposit. Others. Over the next few weeks, you might receive paper checks or debit cards in the mail. This fresh round of $2,000 economic impact payments is only a small part of the larger American Rescue Plan. Congress passed the Stimulus Package 2.0, which includes hundreds of billions more in financing for food and nutrition aid, affordable housing and other programs, subsidies for health, care child tax credit subsidies for education, and other initiatives to strengthen the social safety net. But the focus is still firmly on the $2,000 checks that will soon arrive in the bank accounts of millions of Americans. Not everyone is on board with the scope and price tag of this fourth round of co-era economic relief, though critics in Congress argue the direct payments are too expensive at an estimated $350 billion and will only exacerbate the historic inflation already plaguing the economy. Meanwhile, Janice Wilkins, a Virginia resident, and her family could not be happier that the relief has arrived at a faster pace. "We've endured the economic brunt of the pandemic, ruinous inflation, and so much more over these past few years," said the 71-year-old grandmother. Certain analysts caution against adding fuel to the inflationary fire by flooding the overheated economy with more money. Supporters argue that since inflation is already out of control, American households urgently need financial insulation at this time. They also claim that careful investments in housing, nutrition, healthcare, and other areas can give the most vulnerable members of society long-term economic resilience. The stimulus package is supported by over 60% of Americans, according to public opinion surveys. However, this enthusiasm seems to be diminishing in comparison to prior pandemic-era relief measures. Regardless of one's position on the necessity and possible effects of the stimulus, there's no doubting that this most recent infusion of cash will boost the economy in the short term by driving up consumer spending. The more important question is whether or not this temporary boost will ultimately aid in addressing the underlying problems impeding more sustainable growth and prosperity. Tens of millions of Americans have been waiting a long time for this disbursement to eventually touch their bank accounts starting this Monday, even though for the time being the checks are literally about to come across the country. A 20 payment alone won't cure everyone's financial problems. Whoa, it will surely offer enormous, urgent relief that hasn't been witnessed since the beginning of COVID-19. Here's a follow-up to the piece on the $2,000 stimulus checks from almost 3 years ago. Although the $2,000 payments will give cash-strapped people much-needed breathing room, it is unclear if this will be sufficient to offset the ongoingly mounting economic difficulties they confront. Prolonged high inflation keeps reducing real pay growth and purchasing power. A senior living on a fixed income will have less spending impact per dollar received from the stimulus as the consumer price index increased by 6.6% over the previous year. This $2,000 payment helps in the near run, but it's rapidly consumed by increasing price of food, medical costs, housing, and utilities, according to Mary Johnson, a senior Citizens League policy researcher. Repeated inflation is crucifying millions of people who were already barely making ends meet before prices spiked. Johnson draws attention to the fact that the stimulus funds only offer limited short-term respite from the financial hardships of the most vulnerable communities in America. According to data from her organization, Social Security recipients' benefits have increased by just 88.7% since 2019, while average senior expenses have skyrocketed by over 32% during that same period. This suggests that factors other than inflation could lessen the impact of the $22,000 income coming in the form of housing options and goods for many Americans, who are still unable to access them due to a persistent labor shortage and supply chain bottlenecks. Additionally, over 11 million job openings remain unfilled. It will be very challenging to maximize the value of this stimulus money, while important industries like manufacturing, transportation, and construction struggle nationally to return to pre-pandemic employment and production levels, and because so many necessities like groceries and rental properties are currently in such short supply. Chief economist Diane Swank of Grant Thornton said that while the money offers short-term respite, it is unable to remove the constraints on how individuals may truly use it in an economy beset by shortages. Critics argue that prior COVID relief funding overheated the economy without producing enough goods and services due to supply-side constraints. They claim that stimulus measures, including direct payments, fueled inflation by putting too many dollars into circulation with nowhere to go. Republicans like Senator Kevin Bradley advocate for policies to boost productive capacity and the workforce rather than relying on government intervention. Democrats, on the other hand, see these expenditures as essential social investments to support vulnerable citizens. Despite these debates, over 60 million Social Security claimants will receive stimulus funds starting this Monday. Recipients can track their payments using the IRS's website and app, though technical issues have been reported. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more updates and let's continue the conversation on how this increase can positively impact your finances.